On Global TV News Express, Academic Staff Union of Universities awaits government's feedback as National Assembly wades into disputes. In business, Central Bank of Nigeria to reissue 650 billion naira treasury bill on October 22, 2025. On the foreign scene, Afghanistan, Pakistan agreed to immediate ceasefire after talks in Doha. And in sports, Amorim speaks on Manchester United duo, leaving the club in January. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Express on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Mukhtar Kasim. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV, channel 365, and on Star Times, channel 276. And now, the news in details. The Academic Staff Union of Universities says it is expecting to hear from the Ministry of Education. The Union National's President, Professor Chris Piwuna, stated this in an interview in Abuja. In the meantime, the Nigerian Senate has restated its commitment to mediating the ongoing dispute between the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, and the federal government. This was disclosed by the chairman of the Senate Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TET Fund, Senator Mukhtari Danduce, stressing the urgent need for students to return to school while negotiations continue. Our correspondent, Topsy Gimba, gives us details.
Senator Danduce, who led the Senate delegation in the meeting with ASU representatives, said the engagement was aimed at finding a balanced resolution to the lingering impasse. He explained that the Senate has drawn up a mediation framework to address the crisis, which includes immediate negotiation between ASU and the Ministry of Education and NUC.
And on our resolution, the Senate is not happy that the agreement by the government to ASU has not been fulfilled.
Senator Danduce added that the Senate is determined to ensure that government commitments are met and the academic activity resumed without further delay. He said the priority is the future of the Nigerian students and the stability of the nation's tertiary institution.
We want the leadership of ASU to write all the issues they raise in our discussion so that we can pass the Ministry of Education together with them by Tuesday or Wednesday to ensure that our children are back to school.
Also speaking, Senator Karimi Sunday highlighted the progress made in ongoing negotiations. Senator Sunday stressed that the Senate would continue to push for improvements in staff welfare and educational funding.
They have agreed to increase the allowance to 35%, which they still felt they are not comfortable with, that it should go up a bit. And we spoke to them so that we can reach an agreement. Also, they talk about taxing.
In his remarks, Senator Adams Oshiomhole underscored the need for sincerity on all sides. He pointed out that issues affecting academic work, such as taxation on essential materials, could be resolved through good faith negotiations. Oshiomhole further warned that Nigeria must take deliberate steps to retain its brightest minds within the university system.
Before then, it would be nice if our children of the poor, I emphasize children of the poor, because they're not so poor, their children are not here, so that they can be back to school.
Meanwhile, ASU President Professor Chris Piwuna Guson acknowledged that Senate's mediation efforts but maintained that the government's latest salary proposal remains outside the framework earlier agreed upon. Professor Piwuna reiterated that any decision to suspend strike action rests with union members.
That document that was submitted in December 2024 is one that was unattended to until we embarked on this action.
Another meeting between the union and the government is scheduled for over the weekend, with hopes that amicable compromise will be paved the way for students to return to classroom. Topsy Gimba, reporting for Global Television News.
Let's move away from education and give you some weather news, where the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, has forecast sunny skies and hazy conditions across the country from Sunday to Tuesday. The agency noted that in northern Nigeria, including states like Katsina, Yobe, Kano, and Jigawa, hazy mornings are expected, while the rest of the region will experience mostly sunny conditions. The central region of the country is expected to have sunny mornings with patches of clouds, followed by isolated thunderstorms with moderate rainfalls in Benue, Kogi, the FCT, and Nasarawa in the afternoons and evenings. Away from that, a federal high court in Abuja has barred politicians and online publisher Omoyele Sowore and others behind the protest for the release of Nnamdi Kanu of the Proscribed Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB, from taking their activities anywhere close to the presidential villa, Aso Rock, Abuja, and other important national institutions. Justice Muhammad Umar, in a ruling, also asked Sowore and his associate in the protest planned for October 20 to stay clear of the National Assembly, Force Headquarters, Court of Appeal, Eagle Square, and the Shehu Shagari Way, pending the hearing of a motion, a notice filed by the Nigerian police on behalf of the federal government. Returning to legislative matters, Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives Benjamin Kalu says investment in human capital development remains a key driver of technological innovation and national growth. Speaking at the SM First Global Conference, Kalu emphasized that a skilled and educated workforce boosts productivity and fosters solutions that can expand Nigeria's gross domestic product. The Deputy Speaker noted that despite economic challenges, Nigeria continues to lead in creativity and innovation, raising over $331 million in digital investment, while urging greater investment not only in connectivity, but also in creativity and capacity to ensure technology becomes a tool for transformation, not exclusion. The National Agricultural Land Development Authority, NALDA, has signed a memorandum of understanding with private agribusiness firm Azinoma as part of its intensified efforts to boost food production through new partnerships. Speaking at the signing ceremony in Abuja, NALDA's Executive Secretary, Engineer Colenius Adebayo, explained that the agreement is strictly for the Ora Mega Farm and not for other NALDA farms across the country. Our correspondent, Anita Patrick, gives us details.
Adebayo said the partnership will help fast-track operations at the Ora site, which is part of NALDA's broader initiative to establish fully serviced agricultural clusters across Nigeria, each equipped with modern facilities such as hostels, warehouses, administrative offices, and mechanization hubs. He said the Ora farm is already taking shape with thousands of hectares cleared and prepared for cultivation under the Renewed Hope Mega Farm Settlement Project, designed to boost food production and empower rural communities.
We have started the project out of Ora in Kwara State, Irele in Ekiti State, and also in Bauchi State. And we do not think we need to finish the entire 5,000 hectares before operation starts, because we can't wait for no project launch. We do not believe that we have to complete it, then we'll call in the president to come and cut the tape before we start planting. We are trying to be proactive to make sure Nigerians get food at a cheap price.
On his part, Managing Director of Azikin Noma, Michael Adeshola, said the collaboration represents a major investment in Nigeria's agricultural transformation.
Import. We should be championing local raw materials for local markets, for whatever they want to sell in Nigeria. We have the land, we have the resources. And they said, okay, fine, we have aflatoxin problems, we have traceability problems, we have fumonisin problems. But there's no country without these problems, right? But what are the steps we are taking to solving these solutions? We need to equip our farmers with the right knowledge, the training, the extension, and all them to ensure that they meet the quality standard.
The NALDA boss reaffirmed that the agency remains open to other partnerships that align with national food security goals, but stressed that the Azikin Noma MOU applies exclusively to the Ora Farm project. He added that similar collaborations will be developed on a case-by-case basis for other states as the Renewed Hope Mega Farm initiative expands. The MOU signing coincided with activities marking World Food Day, symbolizing Nigeria's renewed commitment to ending hunger and building resilient food systems through strategic public-private partnership. Anita Patrick, reporting for Global TV News.
Let's say a very big thank you to Anita Patrick for that report. Now let's tell you that Nigeria has intensified efforts to reduce salt consumptions and promote healthier eating habits as part of a broader push to combat the growing burden of non-communicable diseases such as hypertension, stroke, and heart disease. Speaking during a stakeholders' engagement on sodium reduction and front-of-pack labeling in Abuja, the special advisor to the President on Health, Dr. Salma Anas, emphasized that cutting sodium intake and promoting clear food labeling are vital to improving national health and productivity. The meeting drew participants from the World Health Organization, Federal Ministry of Health, Network for Health Equity and Development, Corporate Accountability and Public Participation Africa, and the resolve to save lives and private sector. Now, improper waste disposal is in major markets and residential areas across Nigeria is raising concerns with traders and residents calling for government intervention. Our correspondent, Sadia Yakubu, reports.
The problem is not limited to markets alone. In many residential areas, especially in low-income communities, residents dump waste in drainage channels and open spaces. These practice blocks waterways and worsen the flood during the raining season, creating breeding grounds for mosquitoes. Despite repeated campaigns on proper waste disposal, compliance remains low.
It's actually hazardous because, of course, when people breathe foul air, it affects them indirectly, That's why as I pass by, I have to use my handkerchief to cover my nose because, of course, I don't want to be affected by it.
Proper waste management requires collective efforts. Governments must improve waste collection systems while citizens take responsibilities for their environment.
This is very bad. It's not good for our health. Even what you're hearing is not really good. Since in primary school they are teaching us hygiene, and we are growing up to see this. It's very, very discouraging.
Improper waste disposal is not just an environmental issue, but a health crisis. Communities need consistent sensitization and better waste collection services to reduce health risk. Sadia Yakubu, reporting for Global Television.
You're watching the live broadcast of News Express. When News Express returns, Central Bank of Nigeria to reissue 650 billion naira treasury bill on Wednesday, October 21st. Details coming shortly, plus foreign and sports stories. On the other side of this break, please stay with us. You're welcome back from that break, and now to business news, where the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, will on Wednesday, October 22nd, 2025, conduct its Treasury Bills Primary Market Auction, PMA, where a total of 650 billion naira worth of maturing bills will be rolled out. The Central Bank says the sale will be conducted via Dutch auction, a competitive bidding process where investors submit their interest rate and the final stamp rate is determined by demand and market dynamics. The manufacturing bills being reissued on behalf of the Debt Management Office will be offered across three maturities: 100 billion for 91-day tenor, 100 billion for the 182-day paper, and 450 billion naira for the 364-day instrument. Still talking business, President of the Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, has called on Nigerians to embrace and patronize locally made products in order to strengthen the nation's economy and promote national development. He made this known when the former presidential aide, Reno Mokri, visited him in Lagos State. Our correspondent, Obong Usoro, reports.
President of the Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, says increased patronage of made-in-Nigerian products would create jobs and reduce the country's over-independence on imported goods. Dangote noted that Nigeria has the capacity to produce most of the goods currently being imported if local manufacturers are adequately supported. He explained that excessive importation weakens the naira and puts pressure on the economy, while local production drives industrial growth and economic resilience.
I want to encourage all Nigerians to buy only made in Nigeria. When you buy anything made in Nigeria, you are helping to create jobs. And the only way for us to be a stronger nation is to patronize ourselves and be buying made in Nigeria only, so that we can encourage great jobs and prosperity.
The industrialists also urge government at all levels to introduce policies that will encourage production, address power challenges, and support small and medium-scale enterprises. Dangote emphasized that for Nigeria to attain global competitiveness, citizens must embrace locally made products just like other countries by prioritizing homegrown production. Ubong Usoro for Global Television.
Let's now take you to Benue State, where the Benue State Investment and Property Company has commenced juice production at its factory, recently revitalized by the Executive Governor, Hyacinth Alia. The milestone was marked during a successful test run of the factory located at the industrial layout in Makurdi. Our Benue State correspondent, Felicity Ndere, gives us details.
For years, fruit waste, particularly oranges and mangoes, has been a major challenge in Benue State, resulting in significant economic losses for farmers due to the absence of preservation and processing facilities. For farmers, the establishment of these fruit processing plants by the earlier administration aims to add value to farm produce and drastically reduce post-harvest losses.
Before then, the bag of orange was 2,000 and 1,500. But with the coming of this company, we are sure that the orange will move from here to upward, and the farmers shall also get value for their products.
The lead technician revealed that the plant has the capacity to produce up to 4 tons of juice per hour, noting that the project would curb post-harvest losses and guarantee better returns for farmers.
And we are also going to make sure that post-harvest losses are brought to minimal, and every farmer within the state will get true value for their orchards.
After refinery processing, supposed to go to evaporator for concentration. So the capacity of the production is 4 tons per hour.
After tasting the first batch of juice, the group managing director of BIPC, Dr. Raymond Asimakaha, expressed delight and commended Governor Alia for reviving the long-abandoned factory and repositioning it for productivity.
This is a plant that we feel that with the capital injection that we're injecting in this place, we will ensure that our people have value. We will make sure that our fruits have value proposition. Farmers will begin to enjoy their money. People will begin to have work. We have been working morning and night to ensure that we show the world that it is possible that Benue is on the rising, and that is what you have today. This is the juice. And the oil, we are going to also use it and export it and have FS. The chaffs, we are also going to use it for our organic fertilizer. And just then, there's no wastage here.
The revitalization of Ben fruit is among several industrial revival projects initiated by the earlier administration to drive agro-industrial growth and strengthen Benue's economy. Felicity Ndere reporting for Global Television News.
And now to Kano State, where every year, about this time, farmers across the 44 local government area of the state troop to the Dakata market to trade in sweet potato. Global Television correspondent Idris Jibrin reports that many products like this year, prices of sweet potatoes have reduced significantly, and he files in this report.
This is called the Dakata Foods Market in Kano. From here, farm produce like sweet potatoes are distributed to other states including Niger Republic. For the last couple of years, the price of sweet potatoes have gone high, largely due to Nigeria's high cost of living. But this year, the price has fallen, owing to a current reduction in Nigeria's inflation rate.
Buy 1,000 naira is difficult for you. Now you can buy even 200 naira and go home with it. So there is a lot of reducing, a lot of payable to the customers, and even we that we are selling it.
According to traders, a 100 kg bag of sweet potatoes now costs 20,000 naira, as against 30,000 naira last year. Traders say availability of the products, coupled with low impression rates, are largely responsible for the price reduction this year.
Everything has changed because as before, this bag that you see, we are still at about 30,000 to 35,000 naira. Now it's turned into 21,000, 19,000, even 17,000 we are selling it.
Despite this development, traders say lack of capital among farmers, high cost of transportation and government increased taxation are gradually threatening this age-long lucrative business in Kano.
One of our problems is that we have excess supply of goods, and this makes the price to go down. That is the biggest challenge.
While Nigerians continue to witness significant reduction in prices of goods and services across the country, it is however hopeful that the situation will continue to remain unchanged for the overall growth and development of the states. From Kano, Idris Jubrin, Global Television News.
And now to news making rounds on the foreign scene. Afghanistan and Pakistan have agreed to an immediate ceasefire in talks mediated by Qatar and Turkey following a week of fierce and deadly clashes along their disputed border. Qatar's Minister of Foreign Affairs said the two South Asian nations have agreed to a ceasefire and the establishment of mechanisms to consolidate lasting peace and stability between the two countries. Doha said the two countries also agreed to hold follow-up meetings in the coming days to ensure the sustainability of the ceasefire and verify its implementation in a reliable and sustainable manner. Now, after almost 10 days without taking to the streets, young Moroccans resumed their protest in front of Parliament in the capital, Rabat, led by online youth collective Gen Z 212. They are demanding government reform, education, and healthcare while tackling corruption and a cost of living crisis. One protester said the gathering was organized to unify their ranks and coordinate their demonstrations. Still on the international scene, Hamas has rejected a statement from the United States State Department in which it cited credible reports indicating that the Palestinian group would imminently violate the ceasefire deal with Israel. In a statement, Hamas said the United States allegations were false and fully aligned with the misleading Israeli propaganda and provide cover-up for the continuation of occupation's crime and organized aggression against Palestinians in Gaza. The United States Department had claimed that Hamas is planning an attack against civilians in Gaza in grave violation of the ceasefire and called on mediating nations to demand that the group upholds its obligations under the United States-backed peace deal. And now to the world of sports, where Manchester United manager Ruben Amorim has dismissed suggestions that the likes of Kobe Mainoo and Joshua Zirkzee will leave Old Trafford in January transfer window. Mainoo and Zirkzee are struggling for regular playing time under Amorim so far this season. Mainoo has not started a game in the Premier League this season, while Zirkzee has just made 3 substitute appearances in the Premier League. Now, still talking sports, players refused to move for the first 15 seconds of matches in the La Liga as protest at the Spanish League's decision to stage a game in Miami continued. The high-profile fixtures involving Barcelona and Atletico Madrid, who had home games against Girona and Osasuna respectively, followed the precedent set by Oviedo and Espanyol. There were identical protests at Sevilla and Mallorca and Villarreal versus Real Betis. As had happened in matches between Oviedo and Espanyol, television cameras for Barcelona's game cut away to show the exterior of the stadium, denying audience a view of the protest. Lando Norris has insisted the collision with Oscar Piastri that saw both McLaren retire from sprint will not change his approach to the start of Sunday's United States Grand Prix, as he vowed to go for the win on what could prove a crucial day in Formula One's title race. At the end of the tumultuous for McLaren after their title-contending drivers collided for the second successive weekend, this time to race end in effect at the first corner of the sprint. Norris bounced back to a greater degree than Piastri in the later qualifying session for the Grand Prix to take second on the ground behind Max Verstappen. Championship leader Piastri struggled to 6th place, a starting position which opens the door for both Verstappen and Norris to take more points out of the Australians' dwindling title lead in Sunday's 56-lap race. Now, as Global TV News Express comes to an end, here is a recap of our top stories. On Global TV News Express, we brought to you that the Academic Staff Union of Universities says it is expecting to hear from the Ministry of Education on Monday. In business, the Central Bank of Nigeria will on Wednesday, October 22nd, 2025, conduct its Treasury Bills primary party auction, where a total of 650 billion naira worth of maturing bills will be rolled over. And from the foreign scene, Afghanistan and Pakistan have agreed to an immediate ceasefire in talks mediated by Qatar and Turkey following a week of fierce and deadly clashes among disputed borders. And in sports, Manchester United manager Ruben Amorim has dismissed suggestions that the likes of Kobbie Mainoo and Joshua Zirkzee will leave Old Trafford in the January transfer window. And that's it on Global TV News Express. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV, channel 365, and on Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms, now showing on your screen, using at Global TV NG. I am Mukhtar Kasim, saying a very big thank you for watching.